Hi, this is Dawn Pierce with Southern Instructional Solutions. Today we're going to talk about sentence dictation. This is the last video series number 6 in the Syllable Division Practice series. The first one was on setting up the Syllable Division notebook. The second video was on using the interactive notebook for decoding for syllable division. The third one was using the whiteboard for decoding for syllable division. The fourth video was on encoding in the interactive notebook. The fifth video was on encoding in the whiteboard. And then today, like I said, is the final video of the series on sentence dictation. I'm going to be using the whiteboard for sentence dictation. I got it from Amazon. I'm not sure exactly which company it came from, but I do like that it has the lines on it. And you just need, and actually this particular set came with 3 sets of markers and a little tiny eraser. So I really like that for my students. When we tutor, I give them a set of materials. I use the book from IMSC for syllable division practice, which it comes with all the words that I need for the patterns and the sentences that I'm going to use. It's very explicit and systematic, which I was also trained by them. So it makes a lot of sense for me. So the sentences we're going to be using today are going to incorporate the words that we've been practicing, which are compound words with the closed pattern types and syllables. We've been decoding them, we've been encoding them, and now we're going to see that they apply them into sentences. I do my sentences just a little bit different than how I was trained, but if I find that I have students who need more support, I would go back to exactly how I was trained. But I haven't needed that right now with the students that I tutor. So let me go and share my camera with you, my document camera, and you can see how I go about my sentence dictation. So basically I say a sentence, I have the students repeat the sentence, and we draw a line for each word in the sentence. So the first sentence is, the sunset is dim. So repeat, the sunset is dim. And we draw a line for each word. The sunset is dim. And then I make sure that we draw a line for each one. Now, there's some words that have more than one syllable. So we're going to draw 2 syllable lines for that word because it's a little bit tricky. It requires a little more thought. So the sunset, there's our 2 syllable word. So pay attention when you're writing. Sunset, the sunset is dim. And there's the end of our sentence. So then we need to write it. Now if I need to model it with the students and write with them, then we'll do that. But usually at this point, I just wait for the student to write it, and then I go in and write with them or go in for the correction afterwards. So it is, the sun set is dim. And then you might have them rewrite sunset, so it looks like a whole word underneath. Sunset is dim. Now, let's say when they wrote it, maybe they didn't write with a capital letter. Maybe they wrote with a lowercase letter. Maybe they didn't put the period here. Maybe they did not have that period. Maybe they spelled another word incorrectly. So then I talked to them about using cups. So we're going to use cups to check our sentence before showing it to me. So cups, C-U-P-S. And we're going to put a little box next to each one. And basically cups means C is capitalization or capital letters. So we're going to look for capitals. And when you check your sentence, there's at the very least, you should have a capital letter at the beginning of your sentence. So always look for that capital letter at the beginning. Now, there's other words that should get capitalized, like names or names of things, that you might know the rules to some of those things. So, see if you notice any of those things in your sentences is what I tell them. But at the very least, that letter at the beginning should be capital. So check for capitals. You, in the older grades, we always say usage grammar, but that's kind of hard for them to grasp. So check for understanding. And so I'll tell them to reread the sentence and just see if it makes sense. Sometimes they might leave a word out, which is kind of hard to do when we put the word lines. But it's a good habit to get them in so that when they start writing and composing their own sentences and they reread it, so they start leaving words out accidentally. So if they reread it, they'll start to notice that in their own writing. So understanding, so reread it. Did you leave a word out? Does it make sense? Okay, and then they do that. P stands for punctuation. And I don't have them write these words, but when I first explain it, I write it out. So punctuation. So is there some kind of punctuation at the end? So there might be a period, a question mark, an exclamation mark. So there should be something that goes at the end. So reread your sentence and see if you can figure out what kind of punctuation mark goes at the end. They usually catch themselves once I do this little talking with them. And P stands for spelling. So we're really working hard on trying to make sure we're spelling correctly. So go through and look at each of your words real carefully and make sure that they are spelled correctly. So whenever you finish writing your sentence, check for cups, or you're going to tell them, now look at your cups before you show me, and then they'll go through it real quick, and then they'll show it to me. Now, if your students are on a document camera and you're tutoring, just have them, I go ahead and have them do this whole process through their document camera, so I can actually see what they're doing and get a little bit more of an insight into their thinking. If they don't have a document camera, they are looking at maybe mine, and then I stop share, and then they show me it into the Zoom screen. And then we make corrections on mine. So this is the first sentence. And then we just erase and we go to the next one. So my next sentence is, oh, this is a long one. The man got a cod and a catfish. So repeat, the man got a cod and a catfish. Let's do our lines. The man got a cod and a catfish. Catfish, catfish, 2 syllables right there. So let's go to write it now. First word, the man got a cod and a catfish. Catfish. Okay, remember, check for cups. Okay. So they should have gone through that process, and then I would say, show it to me. I wouldn't really be writing while they're writing. I would just leave it blank, but I just wanted to write it just to show you. So basically that's sentence dictation and what it looks like for us. And, feel free to make your own little adaptations to it. And when you're doing it whole class, this makes it easy on the whiteboard. You have them all write their sentence, and then they can turn around and show it to you, and you can kind of just scan the class and look at them. So this makes for 100% participation instead of just calling on one at a time. So, which is great engagement for the class. Anyway, I hope to I hope you'll join me on other videos, and I hope it was worthwhile for you. See you around.